What is up, everyone? Mpult here, and for those of you who don't know me, I am a casual Destiny player. I've been playing since D1 and just enjoy playing a lot of PvP and Crucible with my buddies online, and I've just really been enjoying Destiny 2, Forsaken, and recently, and this is the video that I'm going to show you today, is I've been really into combat bows, specifically the Subtle Calamity. In today's video I have a compilation of some gameplay, and I think it's pretty great. It's really revived my interest in the Crucible lately, and it's been a lot of fun, so I'm excited to bring this to you. And in the video, I'm excited to talk about a few things for you. I have kind of three things I'm going to talk about through the video. I'm going to talk about the bow and how powerful the Subtle Calamity is. I'm going to talk about kind of the play style and teamwork that you need to use the bow, and talk a little bit more in detail about what those two things entail as you make your way through the Crucible and hopefully have a lot of fun. So getting right into it, the combat bow. So the Subtle Calamity. Here I'm showing you my Subtle Calamity that I'm using. I've masterworked it. It has a draw time mod on it, which I think is very important for the bow. The faster the the lower number draw time, the faster you draw the bow back and are able to fire a full powered shot. Now, an interesting thing to note is that you don't have to pull the bow all the way back before you shoot your arrow. However, you'll notice in some of my shots in the videos that if you don't pull it back all the way, the arrow doesn't fly nearly as straight and does have an arcing moment to it. And it also doesn't hit nearly as hard, which obviously lessens the power of your kill potential and also does make it a little bit difficult to aim. But going back to the bow, the Subtle Calamity is such an amazing weapon, and the reason it's so amazing is because I think its accuracy. This bow is very accurate and hard-hitting, and honestly, even when you seem to miss shots, it has this ability to just nail headshots like you wouldn't expect. Part of this is what perks you're using on the weapon itself, but you'll see that I've really tried to maximize my draw time with perks like Quick Draw, Archer's Tempo. Archer's Tempo, for those of you who don't know, increases the draw speed when you get a headshot. So after you get a headshot, it increases the draw speed for a short amount of time. And you can see in the video kind of the short duration that this provides, but really what this is doing is it's allowing you to change shots very quickly in a scenario where you would be basically outshot by a normal weapon because of the fact that you're taking so long to draw your bow. But this Subtle Calamity that I'm showing you here today has such a high draw time that oftentimes you'll see in one-on-one situations, I have enough time to headshot the person and draw my bow and fire that second shot before they take me out. And that is a very powerful thing on this bow. Another great thing about increased draw time is the fact that you're going to miss shots. The Subtle Calamity doesn't auto-hit everything. You're going to miss shots here and there. And when you do miss shots, oftentimes if you can't pull out that next shot really quickly and get it off before they put a couple of bullets into you, you're going to die. So you'll see a lot of times in these videos, you'll see me taking that second shot very quickly after I miss in order to get that kill. And it's a very important aspect of the bow and one that you should keep in mind when you're choosing a bow to use. And if you're choosing the Subtle Calamity, I would recommend trying to get a mod that reduces the draw time and some of the perk trees that reduce the draw time as well. My draw time currently is 680. This is very fast for a Subtle Calamity bow, and I found it just feels very nice, very just tempo play. The pull just feels natural, and when you get those headshots in that Archer tempo, it just really makes it tough on people. So one note I want to make as you're watching some of the gameplay here is that this video is really talking about gameplay in Crucible Quick Play. I'm not going to talk about competitive today. Competitive really is its own separate beast. It's plays very different from Quick Play. There's less people in competitive. In Quick Play, it can just seem very chaotic, and there's just a lot of things going on, which actually plays into some of the bow's strengths. So as you're watching this video, just keep that in mind, that if you're trying to bring this into quick play, this video will help you to master the bow. But if you're going into competitive, there may be additional considerations that you might want to think about that I'm not covering in this video. So with that being said, I just want to show you really quickly here what exotic armor piece I'm using with the bow, and one that I think really enhances the bow's capability in quick play, and that is the One-Eyed Mask. For those of you who don't know, the One-Eyed Mask is one of the most powerful exotics that the Titan has available to it, and it basically destroys enemies. That is a quick summary, but actually what it does is, when you are shot by an enemy, you start tracking that enemy. And you'll see this in my videos, that when I get shot by an enemy, that enemy shows up as tracked. Kind of like the Hunter Void class can track enemies when they hit with smoke grenades. And you'll see it tracks the enemy, and not only that, but when you kill that tracked enemy, you will actually get an overshield. And you'll see that throughout this videos. And that is so important when you're bowing, because when you get that overshield, it allows you to fight multiple enemies in situations where you might otherwise be dead by that second enemy who's coming at you. And so I highly recommend, if you have the One-Eyed Mask, please try it out with the bow, and you will find it's amazing. The One-Eyed Mask is amazing in general, but particularly with the bow and the gameplay that I'll talk about in a little bit, it's just a really good combination. For those of you who sadly don't have the mask, that's okay. Go ahead and try out the bow anyways, and you know, if you find that you're just having difficulty in groups of people, you may have to adjust your playstyle a little bit. But just be aware that I am using the One-Eyed Mask, and it's very helpful in this scenario. In addition to the overshield, the marking capability is so helpful when bowing, when people try to poke out and shoot at you from like the other side of a wall after you've hit them once. It helps you anticipate your draw, it helps you fire on time, and oftentimes saves you in situations where you otherwise might die. So, now that we've talked about the bow and the mask, let's kind of go into the teamwork aspect of the combat bow and also the play style. So you're in Crucible, you're in quick play, 6v6, there's a lot going on, it can get chaotic and hectic. Why use the bow? The bow does a lot of damage with one shot. It is so often one of the best team shot weapons that you can use when playing in a fire team or with other people. Now, if you don't have a fire team that you play with normally, you're going to be put with a lot of blues, and the bow can be frustrating at times. Don't lose heart. You're going to have bad games with the bow where you're not going to be able to one-shot people, you're not going to have any assistance, and you're just going to feel frustrated. Just hang in there, carry on, and keep trying it out. Get better with it. Practice hitting those headshots, and practice sticking with your team. One of the most common mistakes when you first start bowing is that you get into this mode where you're off on your own and you're trying to 1v1 everyone. And while the bow with the increased draw time, or the quicker draw time, you can actually win some 1v1 fights. If you're up against a person who is pretty decent, they are going to outgun you in a 1-to-1 fight if you're just using the bow without some sort of secondary weapon that you're swapping into. And so it's very important to stick with your teammates, even if sometimes you just feel like you know, they're running off, they're just going out into nowhere, and you're trying to save them. But the key is you want to have somebody put a few bullets into it to maximize the effect, and your team will really benefit from that. In any sort of engagement, that first initial firefight, you'll have that exchange of fire where people will put maybe 1 or 2 bullets in that 1 second, and you get a headshot off and the person's down and dead. And not only does that obviously reduce the incoming fire for your teammates, it also provides you this momentum, and you can change the course of the game a lot of times, especially if you're fighting for heavy or you're trying to fight for that control point. One of the last things that I want you to just keep in mind as you're just getting used to the play style of using the bow is the fact that you should be very aware of your surroundings. The bow is very much a weapon that is great for dealing quick amounts of damage all at once, but with long times in between the reload. And the playstyle that lends itself best to success with the bow is really kind of a pop out and shoot playstyle, where instead of staying out in the open and trying to strafe side to side, you want to be partially behind cover, poke out, fire your shot, and then duck behind cover while you're loading. And as you're loading that next shot, you poke back out and fire the kill shot. Now this makes it tough because you need to first hit the first blow, and as you're popping back out, need to latch onto the target and fire that kill shot. And it can be tough, and it can take a little bit of time to get used to. But once you start getting used to that sort of play style, you'll notice you're surviving a lot more engagements because you're not staying out in the open and taking the kill blows from them. You're getting your first shot in, popping behind cover, and then popping out one more time to finish them off. And of course the one-eyed mask really helps with that, getting that overshield and protecting you from multiple enemies if you're trying to pop out and finish that guy off that you just hit. So with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll let you go ahead and enjoy the rest of the clips, and until next time.